Did you know Dead by Daylight's nurse was once just a grieving widow? But something inside her broke, and she turned the entire asylum into her own morgue. The tragedy of Sally Smithson. In the quiet stretch of rural America, sometime in the early 20th century, there lived a young woman named Sally Smithson. Her life was marked by simplicity, routine, and love until the day it all shattered like glass. Her husband, Andrew, worked the railroads, leaving each morning with soot on his collar and hope in his heart. They didn't have much, but they had each other. And for Sally, that was enough. But fate doesn't favor the content. Andrew never came home. The telegram was brief: an accident on the line, a twisted pile of metal and blood. Just like that, Sally became a widow. Alone. Untethered. Grief has many shapes. For some, it is a quiet thing. For others, it howls. Sally's grief made her drift. Sleep became a stranger. She wandered the house in silence, watching shadows move across empty rooms. Her eyes dimmed, her hands trembled, and her heart withered. But she didn't break. Not yet. In time, Sally sought purpose. She found it in the form of an advertisement pinned outside a grocer's window. Help wanted, attendance needed. Crotus Pren Asylum. Meals and board provided. She answered the call, desperate not for income, but for distraction. Crotus Pren Asylum stood like a sore on the landscape. Old bricks. Blacked out windows. The kind of place people whispered about, but never acknowledged aloud. The moment Sally stepped inside, she sensed it: something was wrong. There were no doctors. No warmth. No mercy. The patients weren't cared for, they were managed, like problems to be tucked into corners and forgotten. Staff used restraints more than they used words. Screams were as common as the sunrise. Some patients never even had names, just numbers. Still, Sally stayed. Maybe because she felt like she belonged among the broken. Her days became endless cycles of sedation, feeding, bathing, cleaning, and hiding her own tears behind cracked smiles. The smell of antiseptic clung to her skin. The moans of the patients haunted her ears long after she left her room. And the nights were worse. She heard footsteps when no one walked. Whispers in rooms she'd emptied. Shadows that moved without light. The asylum wasn't just cruel, it was alive in some dreadful, invisible way. Sally began to fray. First her appetite. Then her voice. Then her mind. No one knows exactly what happened on that final night. Some say it was the 100th scream that finally pushed her over the edge. Others say it was the silence that followed, too silent, as if something swallowed the sound itself. What's known is this: Sally didn't scream. She picked up a bone saw, perhaps meant for some grotesque form of treatment, and started walking. Room by room, she visited each patient, each orderly, each staff member. They say she didn't rush. She didn't rage. She simply moved with an eerie calm, like she was floating, not walking. 17 staff. 42 patients. Not a single survivor. By morning, the halls of Crotus Pren ran red. Sally was found standing at the center of the ward, her white uniform soaked in blood, her face pale and hollow. She was humming something soft and broken. A lullaby. No one could identify the tune. When the authorities took her away, she didn't resist. She didn't speak. She just blinked. They locked her in a solitary cell deep in the bowels of the asylum, the same asylum she had turned into a tomb. There she remained. 4 weeks. Months. Maybe longer. And then, one day, she vanished. No escape. No struggle. Just gone. Some say her grief opened a doorway. Others believe she was claimed by the darkness she helped create. Whatever the cause, Sally Smithson ceased to be human. She became something else entirely. The next time she was seen, it wasn't in our world. It was in the fog. Within the entity's realm, Sally walks, or rather, blinks through time and space, guided by the jagged rhythm of suffering. Her movements are unnatural. Her breath, a sickly rasp. Her body is bound in bloodied bandages, her fingers trembling with every twitch. She carries her weapon, still a bone saw, rusted and jagged, always ready. She doesn't speak. But her presence screams. The nurse is not like the others. She hunts not out of rage or instinct, but out of endless pain, an echo of the life she lost, the screams she endured, and the souls she silenced. Some say she's looking for her husband, still hoping to be reunited. Others believe she's still trapped in the asylum, and everyone she finds is just another patient. The nurse is more than a killer. She is a ghost of grief, a creature molded by sorrow and stitched together with madness. She reminds us that sometimes, the scariest monsters weren't born evil. They were simply broken beyond repair. If this story chilled you, hit that like button. And if you want more haunting tales from Dead by Daylight, subscribe and step into the fog with me. Comment below whose lore should I tell next? And remember, if you ever hear that slow, wheezing breath behind you, don't turn around. Smiling face with horn syringe.